I'm going to try a little experiment for carb cleaning. I've tried a bunch of different kind of cleaners, and I figure I'd try a new one. Basically what I got going on is one of those Harbor Freight heated ultrasonic cleaners for jewelry, and this is a lawnmower carburetor that is some of the jets are clogged, so the jets are the ones that can come out of it are already out of it. There's a float ball. You can kind of use that as a guide. I just want to see what this does for it, and what we're going to go with is going to be pine sol. So we'll give that a shot. I got 2 bottles of it. Let's see how far the first one goes. We're going to be able to get it with one. I left the intake on too on this one. Yeah, look at that, perfect. So I am going to turn this on and heat it up, and we'll let it set for a certain period of time, and we'll come back and we'll see what we get as far as its cleaning action. That's the heat, that's the vibration, and we'll put the lid on it. Alright, it looks like it's taken off quite a bit already. And the nice part is it's very cheap, and I don't think it's flammable. So turn it back on after I get some results. Kind of winding down for the day. I threw all the leftover parts back kind of half-heartedly on that tractor, just to get them out of my way and just keep the stuff that pretty much a hood and air cleaner that still need to go back on this one. Exhaust is back on, the carb is soaking, it's full of oil, belts are on, motors down there. The battery that was in it was actually good. I threw it on a charger and I took the terminals off and hit them with a wire wheel and cleaned them and hit them with grease, and I'm gonna leave it on a trickle charge over the course of the night, and we'll let that do its thing. New fuel line, old fuel filter. These are just a screen anyway, they're not even a fuel filter. You look inside them, you just blow them out with air, just a piece of screen going across. They have a if you have a motor with a fuel pump on it, you could run a better paper filter, but these are just kind of gravity fed. You know, the fuel's up here and the carburetor's right here, so you just 6-8 inches above the fuel level of the float ball, so gravity feed is the only thing you're working with. You can't use a paper filter with them, you got to use again a screen. So blow it out, it doesn't really kind of wear out. And where am I now? Carb is gonna soak overnight. We're gonna deal with that tomorrow. We'll see where it is, and I'll see where I am on the video by that time too, whether it stays on this one or not. It is missing both blades. There's no blades under there. Bolts are there, but there's no blades there. And I do have a deck out back that's rotted out, but it seems to have some good blades on it and some good spindles. This spindle looks like it's fried. I don't know what's showing up on camera, but right around that edge right there is all gone. There's like a flower looking pattern that's on it. Yeah, I don't know if you can be able to see it on that one over there. Anyway, there isn't again another spindle and whatnot on the other deck out back that I can go rob for parts, but I'm not going to worry about that until we make sure that the engine and the drivetrain and the rear hydro is all good, and then I'll pop the deck off and we'll kind of rebuild the deck as its own piece. So hopefully after the carb's back together, it runs, rides, operates, and we'll take it over to the pressure washer and I will clean it within an inch of its life and get rid of all that crud that's on there, and we'll start on the deck. Alright, so I let it sit. It's about noontime now. It's probably about 14 hours or so it's been in here, and the heat shuts off on the ultrasonic cleaner. I think it runs an hour or two, so it didn't stay hot for that long a period of time, but let's see what we get. Inside the carb looks decent. The dirt on the outside still stayed on there, but that's not what our concern is. Our concern is trying to break up the varnish. That's on that. Go sit that down and see what we got for the football. Yeah, it looks pretty good too. Some staining on there, but so far so good. I like it. I like to see how it does on a really cruddy carb, and that was a clean fluid when it went in there, so you can kind of see what it's removed from that carb. So I got that carb back on there after soaking in Pine Sol. I left the air cleaner off, but gas tank was rinsed out, and I got fresh fuel in that, new fuel line on it, and I figured we'd go crank the key. The battery's been charged overnight in a trickle charger, the one that was in the tractor. So I figured we'll turn the camera on and let's hope for the best, shall we? Brakes on. Run it to choke. Let me make sure my plug wire is on. Plug wire is on. Carb does not want to run without the choke on, so I definitely think I have a a carb issue still. So we're going to go steal the one off the other motor, and we're going to go give that one a shot and see if it cures its ills. Looking good. My bad is the original carburetor that was on it. I screwed up in not the seal for the bowl tweaked its way out, and it was holding the float, so the float was staying in the on position and probably flooding itself out and dumping too much fuel in it. You noticed before it was spitting. Charging system looks like it's working okay. So I'm going to start buttoning it up, put the air cleaner and air filter assembly back on. Probably pop the hood on it, and then we're going to go plop it on the ground and make sure the transmission works good and that the mower deck spins, and then we got to deal with the deck itself. But again, let me get that part put back together, and as long as the trans is okay, we're going to go to the pressure washer, give this thing a much deserved bath. Ain't that much cleaner. Got all the cruddies, well, most of the cruddies off. I didn't bother putting the hood on, but just knocked off all the heavy stuff. Now let's go see if it starts back up now that I soaked the crap out of it. And it's usually about a 50-50 whether this works. There we go. The trans seems to be okay. It's quiet, it's not moaning a lot. The mower deck, again, there's no blades on it. There we go. So the next thing to go deal with is the mower deck, which I have a crappy one out back. I'm going to go steal some parts off of and see if we can create a good deck on that. And then pretty much put the hood on it, and it should be good to go, other than some, you know, detailing here and there. But functionality, it seems good. Motor's nice and quiet. I adjusted the valves. I didn't show that, but I adjusted the valves. They were too loose, and yeah. So I pulled a bunch of the pins on the deck and just kind of kicked it out to one side, just enough to get to the spindle that is having the issue, which is this one. And the issue with it is it's stripped out at some point. Here's the sacrificial lamb of a deck that we're going to use for parts, and that's what the center of it's supposed to look like. So it looks like a flower, and it keys the blade onto where it stays. Well, on the other one there, it's all stripped out and wore out. Now, normally you can kind of change the whole spindle. The problem with doing that was when they get old and you want to replace it with a used one, these guys right here, the 3 bolts that hold the spindle on, tend to crap out and just snap right off, and then you're trying to beat them out and get the hardware out, put new ones in, and it just becomes a total mess. Another thing that can happen, which I'm going to go try and attempt, is you can actually take the center of the spindle itself right out, which is this part, and you know, to knock that right off the bearings. So I'm going to unbolt that one and see if I can wrap that one out of there without changing the housing, and we'll see how that goes. So I did it. I just unbolted the pulley, got that out of the way. As you can see, if that sucker will go down. There it goes. So, again, instead of trying to change the whole assembly, you could just change the spindle itself, bring it out to the light. And as you can see, that guy just gone. There's nothing left on the outside of that, so that's not going to hold the blade. We can put a blade on it, but it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. So we're going to go try again to do the same with the one that's on this deck, and see if we can get that one to come out of there, and we'll just replace it. That's all back together. See if we can go cut some grass. That seems good. The only thing I'm looking at is just making sure that the 2 passes that I make, the grass is still the same height, so that the mower deck doesn't need any leveling to it. But I think that's good, other than detailing it. Again, I haven't washed the hood yet, but it should be a good one. If I have a better seat, I'll probably change that out also. But again, we're not going to go crazy. It's a $350 mower, $400 mower. That's it. And let it burn off some of the old oil. Well, again, guys, thanks for everybody for watching, commenting, subscribing, and follow me on these little small engine projects. Later. Yeah, a little
color and stuff. Actually, it's new. It's made by Genuine, and they bought the old Vespa pattern. That is so cute.
Little bomber tank. It looks like the sidecar is.
My truck. I'm gonna turn in my truck. They bought the Vespa pattern, and this is what put Lucky in it.
Oh, he'll leap out now. Put Callie in it. Callie will sleep.
The company's out of Chicago. It's made in India. It's all steel.
Use those with the a lot.
And there's some new guy now, and he's working on, I read the Sunday paper today, a new electrical bike because he commutes to Somerville. And it's not that far, but with all the stuff that was going on in the city with snow and molasses, he said, and it's electric bike, and I think it's only going for $6.99 if you pre-order, $8.99 if you wait, and it looks really nice.
Yard Enforcer was the name of that thing, by the way, too. Chokes? Do I need chokes?
How's that for a third year start?